Good morning, everyone. Welcome to VV Harmony. I'm your host, Imran Gunny, and today's yoga practice is titled Yoga for Brain Fog. So, what is brain fog? From the experiential point of view, brain fog is the experience of feeling unclear, feeling less sharp, very dull, feeling as if you aren't in your own body and there is some kind of separation. Imagine, the experience for me was quite frustrating, quite uh, debilitating because it felt like I was there, but I was also in a dream at the same time. It's very difficult to explain with words, but if you've experienced it, maybe drop a message on how better I could articulate it. But there is a level of distance that one feels from their own senses, from their own thoughts, and definitely from the outside, people will notice a certain lack of vigor in one's speech, lack of clarity in one's thinking, and a lack of presence with the things that are going around them. If that is the case, then I've designed a yoga practice that addresses that brain fog, that will help you and others to become more present. So today we will first begin with breath work that will energize and elevate our mood. Often brain fog in the spectrum of the bipolar disorder experience is on the depressive side. So typically people will experience brain fog when they're in the depressive states. So in addition to brain fog, they'll be dealing with the other aspects of depression, lack of appetite, oversleeping, no motivation, maybe even suicidal ideation. So it is heavy in and of itself, brain fog, but it's often coupled with several other pretty severe and heavy symptoms. And even if you've never experienced brain fog, this practice today will help with any time that you might be feeling a lack of energy, a lack of focus, and feeling ungrounded. So let's go ahead and take a seat on the ground and sit in easy pose. Easy pose is where we sit on the ground with our hips touching, or our glute, or our hip bones touching the ground, and our legs out in front of us with our knees bent and one foot in front of the other. I'm beginning with my left foot in front of my right, and pretty soon we'll switch to keep the hips even. Let's go ahead and settle into the ground. Get a sense of rooting into the place of our where we are sitting. Go ahead and straighten our spine. Broaden our shoulders. Extend our hands upward to straighten the spine. Bring our hands down. Place them on our knees. And place our palms facing upward, and then to release tension in the neck, and imagine that our head, as I've said many times in previous weeks, afloat on water, floating weightlessly, all the while maintaining the straight posture of our spine. We'll already begin to feel the activation of the core. Go ahead and close your eyes and listen to the instructions of this breathing exercise. Take your awareness to your belly. And awareness means, in this context, your focus, your central space of attention, And when we bring our awareness to one thing and one thing only, it helps us to declutter the thoughts, the worries, the concerns, the fears. Now that we have our awareness in the belly, when you inhale, inflate the belly. And when you exhale, deflate the belly. Notice the blood flowing through your veins. Begin with the heart and see how far you can sense your blood vessels extend past the heart. Inflate the belly and deflate the belly. Go ahead and take the deepest inhale you've taken all day. Hold for 5 seconds. And when we exhale, we'll exhale slowly for 5 seconds. Swallow. Already just with the breath work, it activates the muscles in the throat. My morning mucus is clearing up. Just taking in morning breath. It's a fantastic way to begin the day. To get up out of all of the grogginess. And now what I'd like to do is to invite you all to a series of Wim Hof breathing. It's a form of breathing that's become popularized by a man named Wim Hof, and it draws inspiration from the classical yoga tradition, where it is a practice where you take 30 consecutive breaths in and exhales, like in and out, pretty rapidly. And then after the last exhale, we hold the breath for 30 seconds. And then after the 30-second breath hold, we inhale, hold for 15 seconds, and exhale. So I'm going to make it easy for you on when to inhale and when to exhale by placing my hands like this when inhaling and my hands like this while exhaling. So go ahead and get comfortable. Let's switch our legs, even out the hips. My left foot was in front of me, so I'm putting my right foot in front of me now. But if you had it the other way, just switch it the opposite direction. Let's get comfortable in our seat. Feel a sense of rooting in the earth now that there's oxygen that has kind of become more oxygen has become part of our blood. We have a little bit of heat generated just by a little bit of breath work and holding a straight posture. Straighten the posture like a strong tree trunk. Broaden the shoulders. Relieve the tension in the neck. And we'll begin with 30 inhales and exhales. Inhale and exhale. Inhale exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. In with ease, out with stress. 7, 8, 9, 10. If you're feeling tingly in your nostrils or your fingertips, that's okay. If you feel like you're hyperventilating, go ahead and slow down the breath. Inhale, 16. Inhale. Inhale with ease, out with stress. Make it circular, no pausing in between. I'm going to join for these last 10. Ready? Inhale. Last 3. Inhale. Inhale. Last inhale. And exhale. And now we hold the breath. You must be wondering, how is it that I'm able to hold my breath after exhaling? It's because the 30 seconds of inhaling, we took in so much oxygen. Our red blood cells are so filled that there isn't a need for breathing, at least for a while. Got 15 seconds. Notice any tension on the face, the jaw. Relax the jaw. Relax the muscles of the face. Relax the eyebrows. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1, and inhale. And hold for 15 seconds. And inhale or exhale. So that was one round of Wim Hof breathing. If you were interested to look at what we just did in the classical yoga sense, it's prana. And there's different forms of prana exercises, but that's like, at least in the Western, like a study of yoga, that is the subject that you can explore. And it's roughly translated as breath work. So we just did a little bit of breath work to stimulate the nervous system, to energize the circulatory system that creates some expansion in the muscles, which before, when I would always play sports, I was always taught about warming up. And then when I learned yoga and breath work, I was like, wow, this breath work is actually a great way to warm up for my warm-up, because it's a great way to warm up the blood vessels and the lungs, and that helps create heat subtly within the body, and then it facilitates the expansion and contraction of muscles in the warm-up and then in the exercise. It's a great way to warm up, and it's a great way to cool down and to recover after exercise as well. Tremendous benefits of breath work, and for today's purposes, for combating brain fog, it is a fabulous way of dealing with it. Brain fog, however, is sometimes an experience that one has for days, for weeks, and maybe even for a year. In my particular case, I had brain fog for a solid 9 to 10 months consecutively. So it took me time. There was also side effects from medication. There were also other physiological symptoms that I was dealing with that kind of made the brain fog a lower priority. But there's so much that one is dealing with, and so to also have a feeling of mercy for ourselves, because our body has an innate ability to heal itself, and it just takes time. So allow yourself that grace that even after today's practice that your brain fog is still there. That's okay. But recovery is possible, and we will get there together. If I can do it, I believe anyone can. So let's go ahead and now start to move the body. So I'm going to, instead of my usual starting with the twisting, let's get into tabletop position. I'm going to put the tops of my feet on the mat, and I'm going to wag my tail. I'm going to drop my neck, and from here I'm going to extend my left hand and karate kick with my right leg, and I'm just going to feel the activation of my core and breathe. Inhale, extend, and exhale, contract. Bring the knee to the elbow. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Ooh. Fired up that right wrist. All right, we'll do the same thing now on the other side. I'm going to extend my right hand forward, karate kick my left foot back, and balance. From here, we'll inhale up and exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale up, exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale up, exhale, knee to elbow. Good job. Well done. All right. Now from here, I'm going to kick my right foot out to the right side, and I'm going to take my left hand and I'm going to thread the needle and place my left hand as close to my right foot as possible. And then with my right hand, I'm going to spider walk it as far up as I can. And then I'm going to start moving my hand towards the left to open up my chest to the sky. And breathe. Now, to safely get out of this pose, I'm going to bring my right hand in front of my face and push upward, unthread the needle, and bring back my right leg. And this time, I will kick my left foot out to the left. And I'm going to face away from you all for a little bit, but that's okay. I'm going to take my right hand and I'm going to thread the needle under my left. Place my hand as close as possible to my left foot. And I'm going to spider walk my left hand forward. And then I'm going to move to the right with my left hand to open up my chest. To get out of this pose, bring my left hand in front of my face, push up, unthread the needle, and come back. And now from here, what I'll do is come into plank pose. I'll just hang out here for 10 seconds to fire up the abdomen muscles, core. Start to feel that wobble. And from here, send the hips backwards into downward facing dog. And pedal the legs, pedal the knees. Now from here, I'll bring my right foot to the right of my right hand, and I'll come up into a nice lunge, creating stability, some strength in my legs, opening up the hips, the hip flexors. From here, I'll come down, back onto my hands. Today we'll do something fun. Even in our misery, dealing with the symptoms of bipolar, dealing with anxiety, depression, we can at least try to be somewhat playful. I'm going to take my right hand behind my back. And now that I have my left hand and my right foot, I'll do some push-ups 5 times. 1, nose to the knee, or nose to the ground. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Really open up the hips, huh? I'll send my right foot back. Come into downward facing dog. Come to plank, down into chaturanga, upward facing dog. Even in this pose, we want our neck to be like a float on water, our head. And back to downward facing dog. Now from here, I'll bring my left foot to the left of my left hand. I'll come up into a lunge, sinking into the pose, into the chair. Going to cactus arms. And then back up. I'm going to come down. Now this time, do it on the other side. I'll take my left hand behind me and do 5 push-ups with my right hand, opening up the hips. 1. Ooh, this left side is more tight today. 2. 3. And 5. Bring our hands back. Bring it back. Back into downward facing dog. Bring the knees down. Make them wider than the mat. And come into child's pose. We've been on our fours for a while. But let's go ahead and come on to our backs. The thing with brain fog is the experience, it really is foggy. And it's an appropriate word because in fogginess, you lose visibility of the things around you. But because it's an internal fog, we lose a sense of ourselves. And so activating our nervous system, our circulatory system especially, helps fire up and to kind of bring out the sun inside of us to clear up the fog. So now that we are making contact with the ground, to feel a sense of connection with who we are, with ourselves. I remember that my symptoms had taken over so much that I lost a sense of who I was, and I began to identify with these symptoms as these are who I am. I am an ill person with brain fog and anxiety and depression, almost to the sense where I lost a sense of, almost to the point where I lost a sense of who I was. Know that these are temporary symptoms, and they too, like everything in this life, shall pass. So, I have my knees up, facing up. I'm going to broaden my feet wider than the mat. And from here, I'm going to windshield wiper from right to left. So I'm going to take opposite ends, grab hold of opposite ends of my elbows, and I'm going to drop my knees, windshield wiper them to the right, and I'm going to drop my elbows to the left. And now we'll switch, bring the left knees, our knees to the left and our elbows to the right. To grab hold of my knees and give myself a comforting hug, bringing in my hips and swaying side to side. I'm going to extend my left leg out, and I'm just going to make some nice circles with my knee. Further open up my hip. Often the hip is a source of a great deal of tension and pain because of the sitting that we do. Go ahead and switch. Come to my left knee. Make some nice circles. Tone down the tempo of the practice to help us catch our breath, for our heart rate to relax. But we're going to pick it up a little bit once more. But I want to always, especially since we're focusing on brain fog, to realize that movement is good, but maybe move too much intensity can sway us to the manic side. And so that was one thing I had to learn when exercising with, the acute stages, is to do low intensity, long hours. All to bring my feet to the point where I can, with my hands and fingertips, touch them. I'm going to send my hips upward, cross my fingers, and from here I'm going to bring my shoulders together as much as possible. I'm going to send my hips as high as they can go. Come into bridge pose. Now to intensify the bridge, I'm going to extend my left foot. Up to the ceiling. And bring them down. Well done. Now same thing on the other side. I'm going to bring my right foot up. Keep my hips upward. I know I'm sagging mine. And to bring it down. Ooh, we've been in bridge for a while. Send our hips down. Now, if the bridge pose is juicy enough for you, we're going to go ahead and do it again. But if you feel called to try wheel pose, or if you're adept at wheel pose, then send a message to me on how to get better. It's still something that I'm working on, and it's taken me maybe over a year to be able to do it, but still something that I'm improving on more and more. So go ahead and I'll place my hands next to my ears, and the way to get into this pose is to start the movement of the bridge. Come down slowly whenever you're able to do so. And come back down. It's taken me some time to be able to do, but still, after 2 years of practicing yoga, I can still kind of only do it for 10 seconds or so. It's great. It's progress. Go ahead and come up onto our feet. Sending our hips forward, our hands down, relieving the weight of our neck. And we'll slowly come up, one by one. All right, let's inhale up and exhale. Come into chair pose, keeping the back straight, being able to see the front of our toes. And up, send the hands backwards, shine the chest forward, look up. Inhale down, exhale. Exhale. So really get the heart pumping. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Go ahead and widen our stance. I'm going to make a T. From here, I'm going to send my right hand to my left foot, and with my left hand, I'm going to aspire to reach for the sky. So, inhale down, Look up, look down, look up, look down, and use the core to come back up. And inhale down, look up, whoops, look down, look up, look down, and we come back up. Now go ahead and do that 5 more times on both sides. Inhale down, exhale up. Inhale down, exhale up. Inhale down, exhale up. Inhale down, exhale up. How many times is that? I'm going to say 3. Last ones. From here, I'll bring my feet together, sort of splay my feet about 30 degrees, and come down into a squat. What I love about yoga is how I can stay in one place and get my heart pumping, contract my muscles, work on balance, work on strength, work on flexibility, and of course, work on mastering the monkey mind, or the monkey brain. Allowing my breath to come back to a state of control. Allowing my hips to sink further and further into the squat. And from here, I'll send my hips down, and we'll come back right where we started from. I'll put my beanie on. I've started putting a beanie on because it helps control the hair. And I also found this shirt from the back of my childhood closet. Let's go ahead and come back to our seated position, or if you'd like, which one of my favorite things to do at the end of a practice is to go into Shavasana, go into corpse pose, which is basically lying down on the ground on your back like a corpse. So go ahead and either lie down or sit down as I am, and we'll finish with a mindfulness practice to help us seal our day. So bring your hands together, either if you're lying down or sitting down, with taking your left hand and placing it by your ankles, and to take your right hand and to place it on top, and to close your eyes and to bring your thumbs to touch. And as soon as your thumbs touch, take the awareness to the sensation of your thumbs touching each other. And continue to breathe. Straighten the spine, broaden the shoulders, relieve the tension on the neck. Carrey, the famous actor who himself has had challenges with mental health, shared in an interview that when one is depressed, they are in a state of, or in a need of deep rest. It's a way for the body to defend itself, to say, hey, slow down, I can't do this anymore, I'm putting you in battery saver mode. So this quote from Jim Carrey allowed me to have a more positive relationship with my depressive symptoms like brain fog. It isn't something that's getting in the way of what I want to do, what I need to do. It's something that's protecting me from harm, from burning out, from severe injury, and it is putting me in preservation mode so that I can achieve those things in the future, but not now. And you know what? That's okay. It's okay to put things on pause so long as we have the grace for ourselves, we have the support of people in our lives. And my encouragement to your support group is to know that these symptoms, while they can take months, they can take years, recovery is possible. Getting off of medication is challenging, it's difficult, but with the guidance of a psychiatrist or any other qualified mental health professional, you can set your own goals for your health. You can set a vision for yourself, and we can work towards it together. Let's bring our hands together, rub them to generate some heat, and I'm going to take my glasses off. With that heat, rub our face. Give ourselves a nice massage. If you have a faith-based background, to pray for healing, to pray for recovery, to pray for patience, to pray for purification in this trial. And the beautiful thing about the intense suffering that one goes through and comes out of, one comes out with a sense of radiance, an aura of radiance, because let me know in the chat, let me know in messages, but these things, these difficulties in life can be viewed as a blessing in disguise. So thank you so much. I hope this practice was something that helps you in dealing with brain fog. In addition to this yoga practice and the breath work that we've done, I also encourage you to get 25 to 30 minutes of sunlight exposure, allowing the morning sun to hit the pupils of your eye, to expose the skin to the sun, to intake especially vitamin D and numerous other benefits of just being in the sun and getting fresh air. I also recommend walking on the earth with barefoot. More and more science is coming through about the benefits of earthing, essentially grounding ourselves to the magnetic field of the earth. And it does come off as woo-woo, but more and more science is becoming established in the field and how it helps address so many of the chronic health issues that modern people face, and mental health issues being a big one of them. And lastly is to eat well, to eat healthy, to avoid processed foods, to avoid sugar, processed sugar, and to eat as natural of a diet as possible. On my website, bpharmony.com, I teach you on holistic nutrition, drawing primarily from the paleo diet, eating like a caveman, eating those foods that you can find in the wild, that you can grow yourself in your backyard. And there's numerous ways that by eating the foods that are in our area, that are being grown in that specific time of the year, those foods have the specific antidotes for the seasonal and locational illnesses of the region. So I talk about all these things on my website. Please join me on bpharmony.com. I'm super excited to be launching several new initiatives this week. I'll be launching a newsletter tomorrow, so please subscribe to the newsletter on the website. I'll also be releasing a new product, an affirmations deck, and just experimenting and having fun with this process of being a mental health advocate and hoping to provide value for you or your loved one. So until next week, take care and wish you good health.